Hey everyone, I hope you're keeping well. I'm so excited to get back on the road, or on the pony here, so to speak, of doing these readings and tarot readings and kind of generalized information with astrology. I'm super passionate about it. It excites me and I nerd out every time, so I'm hoping that everyone can benefit from the information I'm providing, and feedback, negative or positive, I'm looking forward to hearing from it. Thanks for being patient. I generated a video. This one's about the full blood moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd, 2026. And I'm just referring to notes here that I've generated. But I just want to let everybody know that I'm grateful for those that tuned in yesterday. I kind of went from the seam of my pants, diving back into technology, and it had some flops. I'm hoping to generate this video that will just be specific to this with no public readings. And then I'll troubleshoot between my YouTube and the Facebook group. So here we go. Excuse me. So we're having a full blood moon lunar eclipse in Virgo on March 3rd, 2026. So this is going to be specifically at 12 degrees Virgo, and this will be effective and visible in Alberta around 4:04 a.m. and it'll be peaking at 4:33 a.m. So that's Mountain Standard Time. So we call this a blood full moon or a blood moon, because the Earth will be blocking the sun from projecting onto that moon, and what makes the full moon visible, right? So when the Earth is blocking it, only certain rays will be able to go through, so not the blue wavelengths, but the longer wavelengths that are obviously red will pass through, and that will be illuminating that that light. So before we get started, I do really want to encourage you guys, if you don't have your natal chart, I know it's probably like sounding like a different language, and I totally get that. I'm taking evolutionary astrology as we speak, and it's bending my mind. So I get what it's like to have people speak a language. It's like, okay. But I can promise you, if you can source that information, doing a quick Google search, you can source and find in your natal chart where these lineups are, and it'll give better understanding for you on how to navigate this. So you can Google it. I am putting out a video. Hopefully that'll come out here soon that can help you on just how to source something through free apps. So as we get started, I will have anyone who does have their natal chart, so anyone who has personal points in their natal chart around the 10 to 16 degrees in Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, or Sagittarius, you may feel this eclipse particularly stronger, especially that sun or moon in those placements. So now as we go, I'm just going to generalize and summarize that this month of March, is going to be eerie, like where you're questioning, like, what is going on? Your confusion, maybe extreme fatigue, maybe you're not sleeping well. That is kind of the general energy, and just being booted in or out of something where you're just kind of trying to figure it all out, and it's very emotional. I want to rest assured that astrology, the planets, the celestial bodies, they don't do stuff to us. We're not burdened by them. It's simply energy present that, if you understand, you can maybe learn how to navigate and work with it, or move and flow with it. We're never a victim of it. Let's just translate it to that. So as we go, I'm just going to say we're going to have a combination of energies, and I'm going to explain a lot more, not just about the eclipse, because I think there's stronger energy that is really, I guess, supporting this eclipse to be as intense as possible. So where we see Virgo, we're seeing Virgo at 12 degrees. We're also experiencing an opposite of where the moon's going to be, a Pisces stellium. So a stellium is just a cluster of planets all in one house, and it happens to be sitting in the sign of Pisces, which is a water sign, very intuitive, very emotional, very daydreamy. That is like it's a Neptunian sign. So basically it's like escapism, illusions, It's kind of the dissolving. There is no boundaries with Pisces. They are known as the fish, the two fish that swim above and below, that kind of navigate all sides. So the figure eight, the infinity, that's like godlike, kind of meditative, harmony, peace, love, kumbaya, just in a whole other day, like dreamy, but very beautiful when it's at its best, right? So when we have planets jammed up in that as a stellium, basically it's amplifying and giving an intense highlight to something, a specific area in your life that you need to focus on. So the planets that create the stellium in Pisces is Mars, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus. Mars is just as of filming this on March 2nd today, going into Pisces. It was in Aquarius. And it's at that very initial start, that 0 degree. So I just also want to put a little tidbit of extra information in there. When we see things at the 0 degree mark, it's like it's an intense first kick at the cat type, so to speak, or whatever, right? It's the first intensity of stepping into that energy. Mars is warlike, taking charge behavior. And when it steps into Pisces, a world of spirituality, it's almost translating to spiritual war. When we look on a collective aspect, I think we're seeing, we're having a lot of spiritually themed warlike mentality. So stepping into this eclipse, I think it's not unrealistic to see themes around that. So I also want to add that not only is Mercury in that Pisces stellium, it's going retrograde, meaning it's going backwards, but the planet itself is actually not spinning backwards. It has the illusion that it is. So what does it mean when we're dealing with all this energy? It's a turning point. It's a time for course correction. So I'm going to explain a little bit more later about what this Mercury retrograde means, but let's just try and keep with the flow here, the Pisces flow. So let's keep in mind that energy has a presence of up to 3 months. So eclipsed energy has it starts to seep in a few months before. So in December, we probably started experiencing themes around where this is going in our chart, in our natal chart, in our lives, what this energy is highlighting. We were probably starting to experience little tidbits, things maybe crossing through your mind or becoming a little bit more obvious. You experience that 3 months prior, and it can have a lasting effect of up to 3 months after, which puts us into June, I think, April, May, June, June, and then in which we'll experience another eclipse in August in the fall. So basically this kind of upcoming 3 months, and right now it's setting the stage for what's going to later on happen, come closer to late summer, fall. And we also need to consider that we just had a solar eclipse on February 17th, solar being the sun, and that lined up in Aquarius. And this was like a huge shift of breaking old patterns, kind of rebellion energy. That's what Aquarius is it's rebellion, going against the grain, going to the beat of their own drum. They're very innovative, very scientific, futuristic, so to speak, energy. They're the humanitarian. We're seeing a lot of themes that are being highlighted via the sun of humanitarian rebellion type energy, science, innovation. When we deal with that air sign of Aquarius, it's very much that communication, thoughts, intellect. I don't think it would be unrealistic to watch huge shifts. We think this is fantastic of how we communicate now. I think we're going to see and discover new forms of communication unlike anything before. So we're going to have to buckle up for the intensity that's going to be more mind, right? We're going to see a lot of fast-paced communication coming in, and I think it's really important to ground ourselves at this point. So the solar eclipse is typically a form of new beginnings and creation, so identity shifts. It's more of your physical self. So creations, identity shifts, external life things. It's typically visible and sudden, where your lunar eclipse energy is more subconscious, it's more emotional. It's a release or an ending, perhaps even a closure of a cycle. The moon is our instinct. It's our deep emotions, our inner world. This is often more intense when the moon is full versus the new moon, right? So when we think of something in its full entirety, like a woman who's going to give birth, like expel, excrete, deliver. So release something is the key words for that full moon, where a new moon is something new, a seed being planted to grow and become, like grow in the womb to then later be expelled, right? So this is a full lunar moon eclipse, meaning an end of a cycle, something to be shifted out. So it's going to be something that's coming to light, and it'll be something that's forced to be eclipsed. When we experience an eclipse, it's something ejected fast and clear out of your life. So it'll be brought to surface only to be kicked out, right? When we work with full moon energy, let's just really focus on that full moon of what is it that we want to release, right? So not only that, what are we dealing with? We're dealing with a south node. This eclipse is on our south node. So in evolutionary astrology, which I'm learning, the south node is very karmic. It's your past, what we came from, and what we're working towards. So the north node. So if you look in your chart, if you have your natal chart, not always does it show your south node. It usually shows your north node. The south node is right opposite from it. So you'll see where is it that you're coming from your south node and where are you working towards. So this I guess eclipse is happening at the south node, meaning our kind of what, like something from our past that now we're moving through and we're moving from our future. So we're going to eclipse something from our past that no longer serves us. It doesn't serve our soul path, our soul journey. So a great way to describe March is it's a month of revelations. So unlike the tarot card where we have that hermit, you can Google what is the hermit. He sits with a little lantern. It's like he's going kind of like monk-like to the mountain to sit in solitude and meditate and focus on self-care and healing. We're not going to be doing this in isolation. We have stelliums, we have a couple retrogrades, because we even have Jupiter in retrograde in Cancer. So we are going to experience revisitation of things from our past, people from our past situations, to basically come into to have messages and move on. So we need to be prepared. With that Mercury in retrograde, there's a high probability we're going to experience stuff that, let's use anything with the re's, revisited, reflection, restructure, redirect. So anything that goes in retrograde, we're redoing. So we're having another opportunity to revisit Mercury. So, okay, what are we revisiting? What do we need to think about? What do we need to redo this one more time? So this gives more clarity to what it is that that our decisions are, and what's actually destined for us. So growth and resolution. So you are destined to move on. We are not meant to be stuck in these situations. This will obviously create some kind of aftermath, like some kind of shakeup that, this no longer serves. So now we need to find ourselves around what's new and what is old and what no longer serves. So basically old opportunities and interactions which force some kind of integration and restructuring in life. I really want to encourage all of us to channel that Virgo energy. So that Virgo energy is like, we like to analyze. Virgos love to analyze and organize. They can be micromanagers to perfection, right? That is their duty. They're very analytical of, we need to organize this. So not only they are Mercury, they're ruled by Mercury. They're just not Gemini Mercury. Gemini Mercury is a social butterfly, the chitter chatter and communications, where Virgo says, hey, let's document that and let's put it in a little folder and a file folder organized in this box over here, so that we can source it easier. So they like to organize their thoughts, organize things in life, to the point that sometimes it's almost their weakness, their downfall, their negative aspect can be perfectionism and being very negative self-talk. So I want you to kind of channel, though, the positive aspects of Virgo, of healthy routines. What is it with our health that we're trying to have a good routine? Our structure in life, our health aspect, it rules our nervous system. So Virgo is the nervous system. It's that rest and digest, that gut brain connection. So we'll see themes of digestion, of purification and refinement and discernment. So I want you to channel the best aspect of Virgo, of using that discernment and doing the self-devotion, like to self-service. Like, how can I service myself, of having a healthy routine or habit in my day-to-day life that I can implement to keep grounded through what is a stellium, a host of emotions, to navigate this, to keep grounded. Because when we deal with Pisces on its downfall, on its negative side, can be mental health crisis. So we can have Virgo, our physical health crisis, and Pisces, a mental health crisis. Can you imagine if they both collide? Which it's not uncommon for gut to bring connection. So let's try and ground ourselves, use that discernment and recognize and have coping mechanisms that are healthy for us on how to be more of service to move forward with what's going on in life, how to navigate that. We don't want to be Pisces at its worst of escapism through substance abuse, end of life and life situations, to escape reality because it's a heavy burden, because they are a water sign. This is a lot of emotion. So let's find ways to chart the water and navigate this. Virgo is also of the house of kind of work related, because what comes with routines and structure and kind of earthy is our work, our day-to-day work. So let's also keep in mind there can be some releases, some eclipses in our work related life. Those are themes in regards to Virgo. So let's use and I want to kind of channel a little bit more of, let's take away from the discernment of Virgo, of the mind of being so critical of like, this needs to be done. And let's really challenge or channel that heart and intuition, that deep intuition. Let's use the beautiful aspects of Pisces. They are deep, deep spiritual, enlightened, connected people. They know how to chart those waters. So channel that, use that, right? Don't critically think it. Work with your emotions and your gut instincts, not your animal instincts. So let's also think what happens with Pisces. It likes to dissolve things. So when we have that stellium opposing, it's like we are dissolving things in life that can actually work to our benefit. If you want to get rid of stuff, now is the time to do that, right? So let's also keep in mind with that south node, let's take the gifts. So say you've left a toxic relationship. This is what's being eclipsed out of your life. It's a theme. But we're not just saying that was a crap life or a crap relationship. I mean, it could have been, but there's always a gift or a tool, an aspect, a learning that we need to move forward with from that, right? Because otherwise we don't move forward in life. So we move forward from experiences. So what is it that you're to carry on that can now be in alignment for your soul's destiny? To have that foundation, to have that framework moving forward, right? Let's see here. So don't be shocked if all of a sudden you feel like with time things are going by fast, but you're absolutely exhausted. And yet it's like, time's dragging on because we're kind of daydreamy, because when you have the sun sitting in Pisces, which is a sleepy, daydreamy, not up in this realm, it's not grounded, it's up in the heavens or maybe around and everywhere, right? So there may be a form of daydreaming or just so fatigued of, oh my goodness, having a lot of illusions. I think this is a huge time that collectively we're going to watch the breakdown of, I would caution anyone who sides with politics, and I've had to review this aspect myself personally only recently, is choosing sides of political parties, countries, the people that we watch on TV. is be mindful. And anyone who wants to say, oh, Marcy, now you're just like talking crazy. I want to remind everyone to keep in mind that also take a look at our social media. How many things are you watching thinking they're funny or want to share on social media that it's actually AI generated? And many of them are getting challenging to discern. Virgo. So we're watching the stellium of Pisces illusions kind of almost fog up, cloud up our sense of reality. So I also want to encourage you as we go through this this lunar eclipse here on the 3rd of March, just be patient, especially with the retrograde. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but things will pick up more in April when we now jump into Aries full force ahead, and there'll be more action. So it's okay to go through the emotions. Just find healthy mechanisms to manage them, right? And to kind of such as dance, poetry, things that are very Piscean. They like music, movement, flow, the arts, so those kind of things. So Virgo will be really prompting us to look after our nervous system. So find time to do that rest and digest. A little fun fact, so Jupiter is also going to be in retrograde here in the water sign, Cancer. And that's a lot of water energy. And Jupiter is expansive. It's a planet of long distance travels. Cancer can be movement too, but safety and nurturing. Jupiter is a planet of expansive thoughts, belief systems, higher learning. So when we're going backwards to kind of go into our emotions of, what makes us feel safe, our belief systems, our thoughts. Do we feel safe? Are we maybe shedding some of that? Are we going back and revisiting something or releasing these guys? So I also just want to say, hey, anyone who's doing long distance travels, when we have a Mercury retrograde and a Jupiter retrograde, be very mindful of long distance travels. There's opportunity for miscommunications with tickets, passes, time, communication, and also just with long distance expansive traveling, there's always opportunity for delays of all sorts with that. So lastly, I just want to say, okay, so when we have this revaluing of what makes you feel nurtured and everything, it's like this is kind of, we have a lot of water to chart on. So if you've lost or missed the boat on something, now we're going back into another opportunity one more time to get back on that boat, right? So the areas that are highlighted with this eclipse, so eclipses generally like there's more visibility in one side of the country or another, or globally. So for example, that solar eclipse happened more in Antarctica, small bit of Africa, South Africa. So that's where it was visible. And so where it's more visible means that there's an opportunity for that energy to be more present, I guess, so to speak, to really target that area because it's more in visibility. So just for the free thinkers out there that like a little bit of rabbit holes to dive under, for those that are maybe familiar, who goes to Antarctica? I don't. Good luck booking a ticket going to Antarctica. So what's going on in Antarctica that's coming out? When we have that solar eclipse that's in Aquarius, it's like unusual, eccentric, almost alien-like. So, UFO, alien, unusual activity, something's being exposed. So for those that like diving down rabbit holes. Now as we go into this lunar eclipse, so the lunar eclipse right now, what is it affecting? The path of visibility, you call it. Where is that? It's like predominantly Western Canada, the United States, so including their Alaska. And then we have the eastern part of Asia, Russia, Japan, New Zealand and Australia, part of Australia, the eastern part. So when we start to see this in mundane astrology, your day-to-day stuff, this kind of brings echoes of revisitation of renegotiations, I should say, on the global stage. Could this be in considering to US and Russia? Just an interesting thought, observation. And again, I want to caution everybody, what we're seeing and experiencing is dissolving in front of us and will bring to question anything and everything. And when I say that, it's like I encourage all of us to not be limited. So we have Jupiter going backwards in Cancer, so our belief systems of what keeps us safe and nurtured, belief systems. So we're going backwards to revisit kind of our what do you believe, and is it real? You know, I caution everyone to watch which side we choose, because I think they're all the same. When we deal with Pisces, it's like there's no you and me. We're all in this swimming together everywhere. So there's this opportunity for illusion to not see things clearly. And I just want to add also, we have a huge influence of Saturn sextile Pluto. So Saturn is structures, foundation. It's also known for government, and it's in Aries. Aries is like warlike, anger, rage, destruction, blowing up. So this is not really good placement. Aries doesn't do well in Saturn. It's not like, hey, we're going to build stuff. It's we're going to blow it up. I really hope that's not the case. But you know, it's warlike. So, and you know what? Aries would be more than enthusiastic to do that, to watch it go down. Where Pluto is a transformative planet. So it's, you know, basically breaking things down, transforming them and rebuilding them. So think about that. We're seeing that in so many aspects of, you know, like it's the rebirth, like the phoenix, of breaking down and coming back from the ashes, rising above. Something will come back. So now when we go through this, okay, it's in Aquarius. So think of it kind of like compost, of something now just got broken down to now be built back up from not everything from that previous decomposition, but there's certain nutrients, certain aspects that we can carry through to rebuild and rebuild something probably even better. Now, I hate to use that because for those that are going down rabbit holes, there's also a very common term that goes around of build back better. I don't like that term, so I'm certainly not putting that spin on that. I'm not working with that energy, but how unusual that seems to be a common theme, right? So when we look at things breaking down, and not only that, it's an Aquarius, so like things are getting weird. They're breaking down and being rebuilt or transformed in weird ways. Like it's rebellion, it's humanitarian, coming from the in-depth kind of breakdown of something. So it's kind of an interesting energy. And I also just want to, when I talk about this, I just want to really emphasize, like, take a look at what we're like, people are divided amongst each other. We're seeing some of them are for humanitarian purpose, but maybe not understanding what side they're on, thinking they're on the right side. It could be an illusion, or the opposite. We're all siding with something else. So I just caution everybody just to be mindful that I think right now is just we're observing things as a fog is going to settle. In April, when we have like lots of planets stepping into Aries, lots of energy, it'll be a stellium. We're going to see things move faster than ever, but it'll be action. It won't be emotions. We won't be sitting on our emotions. So in saying that, I want you to remember to focus on calming your nervous system. Aries, we can deal with blood pressure issues, that anger, and find ways to challenge it in healthy ways, of whether it's running or kickboxing, things that can move that energy and create sweat to cool down the body, or cold plunges, things that help calm us down. Diets that maybe aren't so red, spicy, hot focused, more on the cooler, cool like a cucumber, right? Bringing that down, bringing healthy ways, because I think that we're going to watch so much Aries energy of charging ahead, because veils will be dropped, fog will settle, and I think we're going to see a lot of fast moving action. And going into summer, we're going to get a little bit more clarity on what exactly is true and isn't true. And I think we're also going to find, as we see Uranus, I think it goes into Gemini, we're going to see basically a whole lot of fast-paced communication technology unlike anything else. Almost unsettling to question, like, what would it be? I don't know. So let's reassess before we wrap up. So what is it with the cycle that we need to understand is basically we're going to understand, take that Virgo format of discernment, but let's not use discernment of like perfectionism and overanalyzing, overthinking things. Let's go from our gut instinct of using discernment, not logic necessarily, but discernment of emotions, of how is this serving me now? And does this support my digestion? Do I get acid reflux or like stomach pain when I'm around this person or in this situation? So use those natural instincts, those gut emotional instincts to navigate and to restructure and follow that path in your life. So I hope everyone has a great month of March. Remember to rest, digest, navigate, honor those emotions, but also understand it's important to cherish that time. If you need rest, do the rest thing, or do the diary, the poetry, the music, the healthy forms of escapism to navigate the seas. Take care. Bye for now.